woke stars, welcome back to my Grace Journey. I'm Anu, helping you awaken to your true nature of love with more grace and ease. Have you ever imagined or envisioned a world full of harmony, peace, unity, growth, expansion, abundance, love? Okay, if you've ever envisioned that, then you're not alone. I envision it too. And what I'm realizing is that this vision for New Earth, this vision for a harmonious Earth, it starts with me. It starts with you. It starts with our own innate wholeness, our own true nature. And it is about digging deep into our true nature. And in order to dig deep into our true nature, we have to be willing to let go of what's false, what's illusional, what comes from the false separate self. And a lot of that comes from our core wounds. It's not a popular topic. I speak from experience when I say that it is definitely something that, we usually try to stay hidden and not look at, right? And that's okay. But I do realize that it is necessary. It is necessary to look into our core wounds, to discover what they're teaching us about our behaviors, our choices, our patterns, and whether or not, our lack of alignment with the universe, right? So today we are going to talk about turning our wounds into wisdom. Okay, we're going to talk about what core wounds actually are, how they limit us from living as our truest expressions of love. And I'm going to offer 4 practical steps I use to turn my own core wounds into wisdom. And I pray what I share here benefits all. Before we begin, let's just breathe 3 nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Let's become present. Just become present. Understand that there's nothing to do but this right here, right now. So what are core wounds, okay? Our core wounds are, they come from past traumas, whether in this lifetime or a previous lifetime. And these traumas come from being conditioned from the space of the false self, being conditioned from the space of separation, because in truth there is only oneness, there is only unity, right? So these traumas that occur, whether in our past or past life, right, they teach us falsely about ourselves. They teach us that we are unworthy and that we are lovable. So anything that we've experienced, whether it's emotional, physical, whatever it is, that teaches us that we are unworthy of love and that we are unlovable, is a core wound. And it can show up in so many ways. It can show up through abandonment. It can show up through physical abuse. It can show up through betrayal, right? So, but how do these core wounds limit us? All right, so what happens is that these core wounds cause us to live in a constant state of fear, in a constant state of believing that we are separate from others, that we are separate from life, that we're separate from our innate wholeness, right? It causes us to isolate. I speak from experience. I know a lot about like isolation, right? It closes our hearts. These core wounds can often close our hearts, where we're unable to accept others as they are because we find it difficult to accept ourselves, because we've been taught and conditioned that we're unworthy and that we are not deserving of love, and we're unlovable, right? So core wounds can also stunt our growth. It can stunt our expansion. Because we're living in this fear, we're afraid to move forward. Can cause procrastination. It's a lot of ways that core wounds limit us, right? So let's talk about these 4 practical steps that I've learned to use to turn my wounds, to start turning my core wounds into wisdom. And one step that I find is necessary, and this is why I always, whenever I offer any services, I always tune into the vulnerability of my client, because vulnerability is essential to transcend our core wounds. We have to be there to be able to acknowledge them and not deny them. We have to be able to look at them. They can look scary, but we have to be able to look at them, and we have to acknowledge them from our deepest sense of self-compassion, acceptance, and honor. Okay. Number 2, self-nurture. Okay, once we've come to a space of vulnerability in ourselves, we're able to look at it and say, hey, look, this is a core wound that is being triggered in me. How can I nurture myself right now? Can I meditate? Can I journal to get it all out? My new blog is essentially my new journal. Okay, moons, wounds, and boons, right? So self-love, that is self-nurturing. Ways that we can say affirmations and empower ourselves. Number 3, questions. Questions are crucial. What is this experience teaching me about the beliefs I hold, about the wounds that I have? What is this experience teaching me about my true nature? And astrology. Astrology can teach us a lot of things about our core wounds, because astrology often triggers our core wounds because it wants us to look at it. It wants us to look at it and become present with what's going on inside, right? So back to my moons, wounds, and boons is my new blog that's going to be digging deep into core wounds. Okay, this week I will be digging deep into the core wound of rejection, which is something that, as a psychic intuitive and healer, if you are a psychic intuitive and you're just opening up to your gifts, you may have experienced this form of a rejection in a lot of ways. And I'm going to touch on this topic. So in my moons, wounds, and boons, how to heal rejection energetically. So look out for that. You can click the link in my bio for that blog post. It's going to be a blog post series, so it's going to be more than one blog post. And as always, I have some cards. Dun dun dun. The Devil card. Wow, that's scary, right? And really it's not, because the Devil card just basically tells us about our shadow self. It lets us know where we're wounded, where we have limitations, negative habits, beliefs, feelings, thoughts, and fear, which all come from the wounded self, the shadow self. And it takes us looking at it, and it may be scary to look at it, but it's necessary for us to experience our innate wholeness and create the new earth that's whole and complete. All right, body work, paying attention to our body. The physical sensations in our body can tell us a lot about our core wounds. Okay, a blessed gift, something beautiful soon, manifest, trust. All that is unfolding in the most perfect way for you and all concerned. Have faith and continue to hold positive and loving thoughts. A blessed gift is on its way. And a blessed gift is always on its way when we tune into our hearts and self-nurture ourselves